fucking got up like way early one morning to go to the bathroom and get some water. You flip on a light and you're just like, oh
god, yeah. I open up my god, the airship is so fast. Yeah. They may have sped this up, I'm not certain.
Even like the fact that it's sped up, I can see the increments that it moves in. It must be real hard to park that thing.
Yeah.
It's a stupid thing.
And the great thing about the those items, by the way, the gauntlets and the healing staff, is that anyone can use them.
That's cool.
Not just the casters.
Does it?
So there are times later on where it's like I want my white mage to do a big heal on someone, but I do want that lesser heal on the rest of my party. So it's like, well, I'll use my monk to heal, and then the white mage will do her thing.
Because it's not like the healing or attack power is based on the wearer.
Oh, it's no.
Is it?
There's no. Oh no. There's no magic stat in this game. Your spells heal for within a certain range, and they deal damage within a certain range, and that's it.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So you can see I had 250,000 gil. I'm down to 33,000 because they're just that level of money sink exists in this game. Oh well, not at all important.
Wish it said, oh well.
Haha, get it? Riggs,
Now,
stop sniffing around.
Now my goal, I'm going to bring Riggs over all the time and make him get used to Mochi.
Yeah, and Mochi, you'll get used to him. Maybe they'll be able to play. This weirdo. It's wonderful to have legs. See, I can dance now. Okay, weirdo.
All right.
Yeah, he'll get used to Mochi, and that's another hint where it's like, have you heard of Oxy Ale? And it's like, okay, so I need Oxy Ale to go into the dungeon. Where would I find that? And then the other guy's like, oh, I sold a ferry to a caravan, and then someone somewhere probably mentions that you can find a caravan in the desert.
And it's like, I heard that they carry this rare oxy. Or no, the ferry gives you the oxy.
Yeah,
that's right.
Because again, it's one of those multi-step quest chains. What?
Why is everyone obsessed with legs here?
You'll find out in a little bit.
I really like the black magic shop, the way it looks in there.
Oh, yeah. That's an interesting level 7 spell called Saber, which increases your attack and accuracy. What's cool about it is there's an item you find later on which has that effect. Saber can only be cast on the black mage, but with that item, your other characters can cast it on themselves. Which means that my monk and my warrior can benefit from an immediate boost in attack power and accuracy. And it's a significant boost as well. And that's what allows you to just kind of demolish.
Dragon just chilling in town. Yeah.
Just hanging out. This is a town of weirdos already. Why not just have a dragon hanging out?
300 gil. Oh, they're getting fancy here.
Oh, yeah. In Final Fantasy II, the price of the inns is determined by how much HP and MP you're missing.
Huh.
There's no flat price. And so it makes the leveling up process kind of potentially difficult. You could potentially find yourself in a rut because on top of that, you don't actually get much gil for most fights. So you'll be fighting against like low-level enemies because they're just around and they'll give you like 20 gil. But because you've actually powered your characters to a certain power level, it costs like a minimum of 300 gil to rest at an inn and recover from all your efforts. So you're like, Jesus Christ.
Why would they do that?
Yeah.
Why would they make it? They're like, you know what? You know how we had just different set prices in the first game? Let's really fuck them over in the second one.
It does feel like... I can appreciate that Final Fantasy II feels so different. Especially because there's a big temptation, I think, to just make basically the same game over again. I mean, Riggs, you farted again. Come on.
Oh, Riggs, why?
But at the same time, it's similar to the Zelda 2.
Yeah.
Right? Where it's like, yeah, it's significantly different, and you can appreciate that from a creative standpoint. But why did I hang on this for so long? Oh, I think maybe I was checking the guide again. There we go. But once in a while, I missed those during the edit, it seems. But there were a lot more, trust me. Gold and diamonds and stone slab. And that's another hint, as as to how to progress in the game past this point. Because
Yeah.
someone mentioned something specific that's down there, and you're like, I better look for it.
We have been waiting for you specifically.
Please save the mermaids. So that's why everyone is obsessed with legs, because they're mermaids.
Oh, ghost!
Oh no! Mermaid ghost! Mermaid Ghost, I think, is one of Spellgun's songs.
That should be.
So here's what it is. You have Power Word Rock, Mermaid Ghost, and then I think One Path Through the Labyrinth. Those are their top 3 singles off their initial album. Which, I wonder if their initial album is self-titled, just Spellgun?
Yeah.
Or if it's something like, oh god, what would you...
It could be like the type of thing where it's like self-titled and the title track is also called Spellgun.
So Spellgun is on. It's like Spellgun by Spellgun off the album Spellgun.
Yeah.
So you would get it.
That's one of those real corny things I feel like bands did like in the 80s.
Yeah. Like the self-titled album makes sense. Mm-hmm. Right? Especially when it's your first album. But the self-titled song?
Yeah.
Like, unless this song is the core identity of the band. Like, God, Nightwish doesn't have a song named Nightwish, but they do have a song named, I think, Night Quest?
Yeah.
Yeah, Night Quest. And it's like, okay, I get it. The song is basically what the band is about.
Oh, took off fast there.
Yeah. I kept in the whole dungeon, but I decided to just speed up the whole thing. Because, again, I have the gauntlets and the healing rod, so I don't need to save scum it. So this dungeon only took me about an hour to complete. I figured, if I double the speed, that's like 38 minutes or so. That's fine for an episode.
It's like you peeking in those rooms real quick, like,
Yeah.
oh, fuck that.
It's weird. There are all these rooms, but there's nothing in them. But,
Oh, wow.
I know, right? And it's great that they gave me those gauntlets, because guess what? This is a water room.
It just fucks them all up.
Yeah. The interesting thing about this dungeon is that I say interesting, it would actually be quite frustrating if I didn't have the warp spell by now. This dungeon is split into 2 halves, so once you go in, you can go left or you can go right. You need to go both ways eventually, but they both have different objectives. If you go right, you go upstairs, and at the very top you find a bunch of mermaids, some items, and you find the stone slab that woman in town mentioned. If you go left, you go downstairs, and you eventually find the boss, the Fiend of Water, and complete the dungeon.
But you have to go both, or?
You have to do both, because you have to get that stone slab in order to progress past this dungeon. Well, you don't need it to beat this dungeon, but you need it to access the next dungeon.
Yeah, man, that gauntlet and healing staff is looking like it's
bit,
coming in so handy.
I'm not using shit for potions. I'm only now using them to top off my warrior because he took, or my knight because he took a bad hit or 2. But otherwise, it's like 45. That would have been pretty bad, but I can more or less negate that with a cast of the staff. It would take 2 to top her off, but you know, it's those little hits which add up and add up and add up and add up, especially over a dungeon that takes you like an hour minimum to get through, where you're going to get into at least 50 encounters. And you never know, like, does this enemy have access to AoE spells? Is my casters, are they just gonna take a bad hit? That's all it takes, right? Is one bad hit, and then you're fucked.
It's like Sea Troll hangs out with Sea Snake all the time, but Sea Snake has a really terrible singing voice.
And I just
shut up.
Yeah, and I just got another semi-important item, the Light Axe, which has Dia 2, which is that spell that damages undead.
Are there undead here, or is it?
I don't think there are undead here, but there are undead enemies remaining in the game, which are problematic. So that one, it's not as overwhelmingly useful as the gauntlets or the healing staff, but in those situations where it is useful, it is goddamn lifesaver. And you saw right there an instance of the significant disparity between low and high rolls, where the one shark took like 50 damage and the other one took 150, when they have the same weakness to lightning, I'm assuming. I got another one as well, Mage Staff, which I think has fire too.
Dang, that's cool.
Like, they're just dumping this stuff on you at this point.
Just really making you feel cool and powerful.
Yeah, and it's like, wow, I would have appreciated the same number of items by this point, but spread out over the first half of the game.
Does Dia do anything else than attack undead? Is that
No, it only damages undead. They're the only offensive spells that the White Mage has besides Holy, which they don't get until late in the game. And obviously it's only useful against undead. It's just that it's so useful against undead because it hits all of them.
I wish these sharks were like swimming in the ground like like street sharks.
Oh yeah.
White shark. Thinking you're better.
When you're actually purple. But eggplant shark is a weird thing to say.
Yeah. People expect things from you that you just can't give when you're called eggplant shark.
They don't know what to expect exactly. You just know you can't give it.
And then when they meet you, you'd never meet their expectations and not cool.
Not cool, bro. Shoegaze pussy. It's one of their songs, not cool, bro. They're that kind of band.
Yeah.
The air quotes socially conscious band.
Yeah. The sea snake's fun. They're so funny looking. Is their mouth open like that? Tongue out with these fuckers.
Sahagins. I wonder if Sahagins have appeared in every Final Fantasy. I mean, if they were here since the start, then they have a very good chance of that.
I like how they always pair up like a, certain like the chief with
like,
the other
yeah,
ones.
like a chief or a mage variant, or some kind of higher ranking version. All that for diamond armor, which is actually a pretty big boost because he hasn't had an armor upgrade himself since the steel armor, which I found.
Yeah, that was
all
a
the way
long
back.
time ago.
I think that was available for purchase all the way back in the Elven City. Damn. Like, they are stingy with some of their upgrades, but then again, this game isn't terribly long. I managed to compress my playthrough into these 11 episodes, which all together are probably only about 5 hours or so. And my actual playtime, to take into account the a few moments where I just had to stand around, like while I took a phone call, and while I was looking at the guide, and all the time I spent grinding, my actual playtime probably came out to only 20 hours or less.
Not bad, yeah.
And again, that 20 hours was mostly just walking around grinding.
Yeah.
Like, in terms of actual plot progression, maybe only 5 of that was actual plot progression.
If RPGs could just come out that were around 20 hours and not 20 hours of dying and restarting or loading and grinding, that'd be the sweet spot, wouldn't it? Like 12 to 20 hour long JRPGs would be great.
That's kind of why I want to pursue this RPG idea of it being episodic, with each episode being like, if you just play start to finish, you don't really explore the side stuff, it'll take you maybe 2.5 hours.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
If you take the time, and I would imagine each level would have like a level cap, so that you can't get too powerful early on,
or waste too much time grinding.
Or waste too much time grinding, yeah. So, and in that case, it's like, if the level cap is 5, and even at 5 you're losing the fight, you might know, okay, there's something I'm doing wrong. I just need to learn how to play it. But I imagine each episode being like 2.5 hours if you just play start to finish. Maybe 4 or even 5 if there's, depending on the side content of that particular episode. So that way you invest some time and you're done with that experience. It's just a discrete portion, and then you don't feel overwhelmed thinking about how much is left. Because that happens a lot, right? It's like,
yeah, you're like, fuck, I don't know if I have another 40 hours in me. Like, or however much it could be.
Yeah, that's part of the reason I gave up on Dragon Quest VIII again. Is because I had invested 12 hours and I felt like I made almost no progress in the story, just because, just like here, you need to spend so much time grinding out levels after each and every portion of the game. Like, you beat a boss, you know that you need to find some place to save, and then just grind and grind and grind. And it got to 12 hours. I hadn't even found my 4th party member yet. Like, I was starting to find him, like, in the story. He hadn't joined me. I'm like, fuck, this game is 80 hours, isn't it? and I don't want to spend 80 hours doing this.
Like, there's so many other games that you can throw in there and have, like, such, variety within that 80 hours of time that you're dedicating to this.
Whereas if you play an episodic version of something, you have an idea of what the rest of this game is going to be like, and this part's not sped up because there are no encounters. So I just walk around and talk to mermaids. Ooh. But so if you play a 2.5 hour episode of something, and you're like, okay, I don't like this. You don't have that overwhelming sense of like, how long is this? Mm-hmm. And if we say this is a 10 episode or 11 episode, whatever, you do the math. It's like, okay, so this will probably be like a 20-hour experience.
Plus, I mean, it seems like it'd be a lot better to leave people wanting,
and then it leaves them wanting,
as opposed to not finishing it all.
Yeah,
or being like, fuck, it was good until.
It'd be like watching the X-Files, let's say. You could stop watching the X-Files early on at any given point and feel fine. Mm-hmm. Because early on, it's mostly Monster of the Week stuff, and so you have a discrete endpoint. Later on, it's almost every episode has to do with the mythology that no one really cares about. But if you were to just stop watching at that point, suddenly it feels like this weird nagging sense of incompleteness. Mm-hmm. You don't want to go back to it, but you do kind of want to finish it up. Whereas if it's episodic and you do it correctly, like this RPG that is, each one is a discrete endpoint, and so you do get that satisfaction of finishing it. But if you do get to the point where you're like, you know what, I don't like this, then you still have that sense of having completed it, even if it's not the entire game. You don't. This is unique to games, I think. You don't feel like you've lost a bunch of money.
Yeah.
Right? You don't feel like you wasted your money on this experience you don't even want. Because it's like...
Yeah, if you spend $60 on a game...
You spend $60 on the game and then realize after like 5 hours that you don't like it, then you're thinking like, will I invest 60 miserable hours in this game even though I dislike it? Like, that's why I'm glad I rented Fallout 4 instead of buying it, and Dark Souls 3 instead of buying it. Both of which I was tempted to do because I was really itching to play them. But then I played them for like 4 hours and went, I don't have time for this.
You're like, that was fun, but that's about it.
Yeah. Well, no, I didn't even have fun with them. So I'm like, that's it. I'm not even having fun with these. I'm glad I didn't buy them. Because if I had bought either of them, I would have looked at my $60, which is gone, and said, I gotta get my money's worth.
Yeah, and you're like, I'm only gonna get like 40 back, maybe 50.
Whereas if this episodic RPG is like $1.99 or $2.99 an episode, if you're out $3, you're only out $3. Some people are, petty and would so resent that. Mm-hmm. But even if you followed along with it up to a certain point and then like it takes a turn for some reason, then you're like, I don't really want to continue. Mm-hmm. Maybe we dropped the ball and they're like, I don't really think the story's going anywhere I like, or I'm not really as invested in the characters anymore. Whatever, you can just stop. And it's like the money I spent up to this point was fine. It's like if I liked the first 5 episodes, I spent $15. That was fine. That was a good $15 spent. This one I disliked, that's $2.99 spent. Whereas if it's a whole game, if you play halfway through it and then the back half is terrible, that back half taints the first half because you spent money on that whole experience. Whereas if you give up on an episodic game at a certain point, it's like, well, I spent $18 total. I enjoyed $15 worth of that. It's really only $3 that I feel like was wasted or lost in any sense.
And if you do the episodic game... Oh, it's the Rosetta Stone. If you do the episodic game correctly, like in a right way, you talk about how people can like pick it up wherever they want. And there would be like, for people who play through all of them, maybe there is just some like good inside jokes. That,
sure, yeah.
Like a good reward or something.
Well, I've already been workshopping in my head, and I have some ideas, and like there'd be recurring characters, and there is a story that's developing throughout. It'd be the sort of thing where the primary story, takes greater shape and more prominence toward the end, but it would be there. But because it is episodic, it'd be like, okay, if you've been playing since the start, then your items and your money and your character progression, all of that will carry over into the next episode. So if you start it like midway through or wherever, we have to assume a certain default state.
Yeah, like you can begin this episode with this level and these weapons will get you through, but they're certainly not better than the best weapons from the last episode.
Exactly. It's like if you do the side content, if you take the time to max out your characters, then you might go into the next episode. You might go in like episode 5 at level 25, and you have this weapon with like 50 attack power, and your caster has like 6 different spells. Whereas if you pick it up just starting there, then you'll start off at like a level 18. Your weapon only has 35 attack power, and your caster only has 4 spells. Because we need to give you a certain minimum to progress and handle the content of that episode. But if you've been playing along, you are rewarded because you've been taking the time to invest in side content and, you know, really hunt down stuff. Like, I think each episode would allow you to find, like, a new ability for the physical character and, like, a new spell for the caster somehow. And you'd be able to acquire those in the next episode, but you'd probably have to, like, buy them. Make some sort of investment, basically expend some sort of resource that you wouldn't have to otherwise.
So now you have the Rosetta Stone. This is now where you have to go back and go the other way? Or...
Yeah, I cut it out, but what I did is once I got the Rosetta Stone, I used Warp 2 to go back into town and rest at the inn.
Oh, okay.
Because I realized that A, it was faster than going back down to the center of the room, and B, it would benefit me in no way to fight my way back down.
Oh, yeah, jeez.
Since I had to go back to the start of the dungeon anyway to get to where I'm going now. So I warped out, rested, came back, and now I've taken the left-hand path, literally, and I'm slowly going downstairs. And I guess
it's like, what to do?
I probably got a text message from someone.
What, attack? The fucking guys hanging out like, what's going on?
Come on, I'm the last of Hagen. It's not going to take off like the last unicorn, but it's like it going for me.
This fucking stinks.
You know, now that I've decided not to put much work into cleaning my old apartment, I'm actually looking forward to tomorrow a lot more.
Yeah, I'd say that's like a fair thing. Like, just don't put too much work into cleaning it. Like, fuck them.
I just need to pack up my posters and the stuff I have framed on my wall and the stuff I have in my kitchen. And I'll do a quick rub down of stuff. So it passes, you know, at least a cursory inspection.
There aren't like crumbs on the counter.
Yeah. I'll finally clean that turkey blood that dripped into the little divot in the bottom of the refrigerator last December.
Oh.
That I've kept looking at and going, well, it's dry now, and I bet any bacteria in there is just dead.
God, cleaning refrigerators are the worst. Like, I wish...
It's always amazing how much stuff is actually in there.
And I wish that kitchens just had drains in the floor. And you could just fucking take all the shelves and drawers out of the fridge, just like spray it down with some soap, scrub it, and then hit it with a hose. Like, why aren't kitchens like that? Like, that would be great if most kitchens just had a drain in the floor, so you could just be like, time to clean this bitch.
Oh, yeah.
Like, every bathroom should have a drain in the floor other than the tub drain, you know? It's like, it's already got the plumbing for it. Just put a drain in the floor so when you clean it, you can just fucking hose it down and scrub it.
Yeah.
That's like my dream.
If you could build a house from scratch?
Yeah, it's like put drains in the kitchen and bathroom floor. Just fucking,
Well, I imagine you would have a fairly significant kitchen, and so it would make sense for it to be more like a... Well, that's basically how kitchens are set up in delis and restaurants. Yeah, it's like you just push everything down, then you push it, like, and then you have that basically as your garbage disposal.
Yeah.
Like, you know, make sure the disposal is nice and deep so nothing can get in there by accident.
Yeah, you got like a grease trap or something. Yeah, like a commercial kitchen.
Yeah, like something you... Yeah, like something you have to physically lock so that your kids aren't just like, Daddy, look. But
get out of the grease trap, kids.
Yeah, I'm covered in grease.
Now you smell real bad.
Yeah. But yeah, just like hose everything down because it's all made of nice marble and finished wood.
Yeah, everything can like stand up to soapy water and getting sprayed, and you're just like, I'm just gonna scrub it down.
That'd feel really nice, actually, to clean a kitchen to that degree.
Oh yeah, I'd feel so much better about it. I love that. Was one thing I enjoyed about working in restaurants. Is
when you can clean in a macro fashion.
Yeah.
Instead of just like getting these little tiny. It's like I'd love to just go in my bathroom with a hose and just.
It's like soapy water, scrub, rinse water, and like sanitize or something. And then you're done.
Just get a oh god, I love cleaning with a stiff bristle broom.
And I love sanitizing water.
Yeah.
Like in restaurants and shit. I love sanitizing water. It's
so
like,
if you're just fighting a whirlpool.
It looks nervous.
Oh, jeez.
Like sweating a bit.
Oh, shit. Oh, I don't know if I'm ready for this. I wasn't ready.
Aquos was not ready. A strange amount of money in that treasure chest.
It's weird. I mean, when I was going through Bahamut's, his buddy's treasure chest, like one of them only had 10 gil.
I was saving.
Oh.
I was trying to bring my family over. Fucking furry ass legs on that guy. Just my thighs though, they're the bald spots. Don't ask why. Let a lot of my buddies sit on my lap, I guess.
Yeah.
It's just what those trolls do.
I was glad that I was actually willing to fight the enemies in this dungeon for once, because they're the sort of enemies that I feel fine fighting. Like, up until this point, mostly they've been composed of, like...
Assholes,
basically. Just enemies that are either... due to their raw strength, or their ability to do AoE damage, or ability to cast status effects on my party.
Yeah, fucking petrify and shit.
Like, just enemies of the sort that I look at them and it's like, even if I can fight these guys and kill them in 1 or 2 turns, I don't want to invest the resources that I would take to recover from this encounter. And so I'm not going to. I've just fucking run away. Because it wasn't worth it. But I get to hear, and it's like, the Sahagins don't really do anything. I mean, the mummies put me to sleep. That's not bad. Yeah. Oh, these guys are undead, so using the light axe is pretty useful.
Yeah.
Like, the damage isn't huge, but again, it hits all of them. And I think I got Giant's Gloves as well. Which one of those do? Saber, there it is.
Ooh, and that was the one you said that, like, buffs you?
Yeah, that gives you that attack bonus.
Hell yeah.
Which I don't think I use it outside of bosses, but on bosses, especially... the last few in the Temple of Chaos, you'll see it makes a gigantic difference.
So are you guys supposed to be underwater at this point?
Yes. They don't quite sell it as being underwater, I know, but you do need the Oxy Ale to get down here.
Pretty curious about how that
also the bathysphere kind of popped up out of the water's surface.
Yeah, like
it's clear there's like water right. I know. Don't think about it too much.
Because the mermaids were all like, whoa, you guys can breathe down here or something?
Yeah, I know. Don't think about it too much.
Are those ghosts holding scrub brushes?
I think so.
They're like, we're just trying to keep it clean.
They're going to do some macro cleaning themselves later.
Like, you guys fucking it up. We're closed for the night.
Oh, Jesus, those people.
Can I just get 5 more pounds of roast beef?
Those people. Why?
We're closed for the evening. Everything's getting sprayed with soapy water. We can't give you food right now.
Oliver's Market closed at 10. The deli closed at 9. So you would get people, we have our lights off. We're dragging plastic and paper over things. We're doing the real deep cleaning of the slicers. People who just walk up, stop, stare at us formlessly while our backs are turned to them, so that then we turn around and find them and go, can I help you? I have a second light axe, so I can use Dia 2 again. Or I can use it, I had 2 characters to use it. Just turn around and be like, can I help you? Like, are you guys closed? Yes. Can I just get something real quick? No. Just real quick. And then, of course, the shift managers would often be like, oh, no, yeah, I can do something for you. Yeah, come on.
Yeah, I don't care if these fuckers have to clean the slicers and everything all over
again. Yeah, exactly, yeah. Like, I get it. You want to bring in as much as you can, but fucking come on. The customer isn't always right.
Yeah.
I think I got the job with Amtrak, which I only had for a few months because it was miserable. I think I got that because they asked me, is the customer always right? And I said, no.
It's funny because you would think that that's a moment when you're like, they want me to say yes. But
yeah.
And there was probably part of you that was like...
Part of me did want to say yes, but I'm like, no.
Yeah, and then there's probably even like a part of you that wanted you to say no in hopes that maybe I don't get this job because I say no, and then fuck them if I say... You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
oh, yeah, yeah.
Like,
if they're going to be that sort, like, if they're going to be that sort who does honestly believe that the customer's always right, then maybe I don't want to work here.
Yeah. I'm like, no, and they're like, you're hired. You're like, what?
Yeah. I can know the customer isn't always right. Like, sometimes the customer asks for something that doesn't exist.
I had a boss at a restaurant, or it was like, well, kind of somewhere between a deli and a restaurant. Mm-hmm. But it was like, hey, this customer wants this thing, but in order for you to give them that, it's going to keep you here an extra half an hour like or so due to the cleaning and all that stuff. And she's like, that literally isn't worth your time.
Yeah.
Like the half pound of fucking sliced meat that they're going to buy.
Sure. Because like you're making, how much were you making at the deli?
I think you're like 13 or something.
So if you're making 13 an hour, and that's 6.5 per hour, whereas that half pound of meat is probably $6 tops.
Yeah.
Like, you've actually cost your employer 50 cents, which
like,
it's small, but it's still a consideration.
It's like, I think that the whole customer's always right thing is stupid, because it's like, I don't know, why don't you hold your customers to like the same kind of, I don't know, have them be...
a level of accountability and conscientiousness that they expect from us. Like,
it's like, dude, you want this stuff? Come back when we're open.
The service economy that we have needs to cut both ways. Like, I need to be conscientious of you as a customer, but you as a customer need to be conscientious of the fact that this is my job and I have a life outside of it. And closing hours are closing hours.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care why you're here at 9:10. We closed at 9.
Yeah.
We close at 9 because it takes at least an hour to clean all this, and if we have to take, it doesn't just take 10 minutes to clean the slicer. It takes me 10 minutes to serve you.
Yeah.
And then 10 minutes. Because that's 20 minutes that's going to take me to take care of this.
Not to mention the time it has
Not to mention
back.
the time minutes. Yeah. The 10 minutes I already spent cleaning it.
Yeah.
So really, this 10-minute task is a 30-minute task.
And it's like if someone just cannot make it to the store in time to get the deli meat they need, it's like what they need to do is go up to the manager and be like, look, I like your meats a lot, but I understand you guys close at 9, but I get off work at 9 and I can't get here until then. Can you just have some set aside for me? I'll be here to get it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if you call us ahead and say, hey, I know you close at 9, can you slice me a pound of this? I'll be there at like 9:10. Just toss it to me and I'll go pay for it. Because we print off the sticker, we slap it on there. Like, we can do in fact, we have done that. We did do that from time to time. People will call in and put in an order. And that's
that's a responsible customer. And it's like, why can't we, hold all customers accountable, and make them, like, you have to be responsible too. Like, that'd be like a customer like, I wrecked my car on the way to come to your store. It's your fault. It's like, why?
Because I was trying to get here in time to buy the stuff. It's like in fact, I would prefer if more customers had called in their order. Because that would clear congestion within the store itself. Because obviously there's the rush hour where 100 people descend and want all their food at once. And B, and that would allow us to spread our work out over a more manageable period of time. So it's like, we know we need to do all this prep, and we can do it here because, we're going to have a rush of customers picking up their stuff, but they're not going to pick it up until 3 o'clock or 5 o'clock or noon or whatever. And so we can take care of it when we have some downtime.
Like, I got to fill that 3 o'clock order.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, and then what would normally be our rush hour is when we can take care of some prep, and the people who do come in will be lesser. And here we are finally.
It's like
at the fiend of water.
Customers they're so stupid and so fucking entitled. It's like, how did you get so dumb? And how do you think being so dumb earns you this entitlement?
I honestly think a lot of people have just never worked in customer service, or else they know better.
Yeah. You humans amaze me.
The land creature could make it this far.
What is this asshole?
Spadoosh. Spadoosh.
Look at that. I know exactly how that thing talks.
But I'm afraid it is time to teach you your place. Spadoosh. Spadoosh?
You don't have to make your own water sounds. We're underwater.
Spadoosh.
He flicks a little bit of water in your face.
Exactly.
Off his tentacle. Spadoosh. And like, gross. You're flicking water.
He's even in that kind of pose. Yeah. Like, look at that sassy limb on his left.
Quit flicking water at my face. What water? Ew.
What's weird is I could teach her Null All, but she doesn't have any spell levels for level 8 yet. So she can't actually cast it. She just knows how to do it. She
looks like she's doing the Italian pizza sign thing.
I know.
Like, it's so good. You just gotta put the cheddar on top. You should have put a little cheddar. Just.
Actually, I think I didn't think to use the gauntlets here to give my melee characters their saber effect because I'm dumb. But I did use Null Ice, which I do believe...
that's a cool animation.
Yeah, it is. I wish I'd use it more often.
So the one time one of those spells comes in handy.
Yeah.
I never use spells like that. I just
very rarely, unless it's this. Those ones I will use from time to time because some bosses will just rock your shit without it.
It's like usually there's an item you can equip, like this is the ice ring.
Yeah.
And it'll protect you against ice or something. I would rather use up an accessory. I'd rather use up an accessory slot if the game allows
exactly.
than use up a turn of ass kicking to throw a shield on. Oh man. Noodle's got them cool shades on, just can't handle it.
Oh no, my white mage can't hit you with an attack.
Oh no.
Spadoosh times 8.
This dick. Just cracking, just straight up cracking.
Just cracking.
What's cracking?
Well, I was gonna say exactly that. What's cracking, Spadoosh?
Yeah, it's like cracking. Aww. He's like, you guys gonna come back after this though, right? I get pretty lonely.
Yeah, we'll be back. We'll see you in the past.
Spadoosh. Just flick. He always gets it in the eye or in your mouth or on your lip
Spadoosh
too.
times 8 again.
Like he would always land it like right on your eye.
Look, he did over 300 damage to my white mage, and that same attack did like 60 to my warrior.
Oh man, Knuckles not dishing out the pain.
Not yet. Just wait until we're in the last dungeon. That's when Knuckles really comes into his own. Just like Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles, which I think is technically what that game is titled. Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles.
Wasn't there a cartridge that you had to put inside or on the outside of another cartridge in order for it to work?
Spadoosh. I think, yeah, there was, but I don't remember how that worked.
It was like the Knuckles one went in first, and then the Sonic one went on top of that.
Yeah.
And I was like, why is
that
this?
did not catch on, because that's a terrible idea.
They're like, it's like an expansion. It's like pre-DLC. It's like, no, this is just dumb.
And that made it Sonic 3 and Knuckles.
Ooh, 50. 10 hits. Jeez.
3. Oh, I'm dead now. I'll see you in the past. Spadoosh. Spadoosh.
One last flick lands like way in the back of your throat. You're like, I had to swallow it.
In slow motion, just while you're looking at it, I'm like, what? And then it just falls all the way down, like,
Alright, guys, time to stretch it out.
Alright, here we go, everybody.
It's like we're sick of doing this.
Let's show this crystal to this bigger crystal. Here we go. Sweet.
Flickers a bit. Oh, now it's alive, right?
Yeah. Now the water is 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 3, 1, 2, 3,
like
4.
with practice, boys.
2, 3, 5, 2, 6. They do 6.5 reps.
They like give up.
Yeah.
They practiced. They rehearsed for 10, and after 6.5, they were just like, no, not anymore. What do these fiends want? Like, what do they think is gonna happen once they destroy the Earth? Like, if they
just destroy it.